Yo, what's up, guys? It's Contreras. C to the O to the U to the N to the County. What is up, everybody? Funny story about why I'm wearing a Michigan hoodie and why I have this, even though I go to Michigan State. My mom does not know the difference between the two and didn't know the difference for some time. So, what she thought Michigan State was, she thought Michigan State and Michigan were the same thing. So, she bought me a Michigan hoodie, not knowing that Michigan State and Michigan are different things. Immigrant parents are awesome. But let's get straight into this video. Colby Covington, you're an idiot. When you have such a big ego, yet, delivered so poorly. If you guys don't know who this is the man who talked about someone else's dead father. You know, I have a lot of beefs, and I have a lot of people I dislike, but never would I talk about a dead relative. And I hope you guys don't either. But without further ado, let's get started.
UFC title. Previously, it's been signed by Francis Ngannou, and most recently, I've had it signed by Tom Aspinall.
Oh, by the way, Francis Ngannou in the boxing match versus Tyson got robbed. I just wanted to throw that out there, but let's continue.
Who is the UFC interim heavyweight title? We're going to get onto that because he is my guest on the True Geordie podcast, which is out 7 o'clock today on the True Geordie YouTube channel. Check it out. All right, it's the UFC 296 main event review. Colby Covington took on the champion, Leon Edwards.
And lost. And lost.
There are a lot of drama because Colby had said things about his dad being in hell and shit like that. It was fucking bang out of order. And he doubled down on it later in the week by talking about what his dad had done, you know, life of crime or whatever. I don't know the details, but that's kind of what he was alluding to. And in my preview, I said that Colby taking the lowest of roads possible showed me a lack of self-belief. Like, if you're
Yeah. If you got to go to that extent to get someone's head, it's raps.
confident and you believe you're going to go in there and steamroll this guy, you don't need to pull out every trick in the book and do the dirty tactics. And yet he still did that. And that, for me, made me less confident that he could win that fight. And if it had been a prime Colby, maybe I would have leant towards him because he was a beast then. But that tactic told me, you're not confident. And from the walk-in, he was breathing. I'm looking at him thinking, God, I've never seen Colby like this nervous in my life. And look, the ring rust, he'd been out of it for a couple of years. He'd sat and waited on his title shot. This is what happens. You lose your sharpness, you lose your confidence. I don't think for 1 second at any point in this fight he thought he was going to win. And it didn't really feel like a fight. To be honest, when I was watching it, it looked more like a spar. There was not enough resistance from Colby to give Leon any trouble. And Leon isn't the most aggressive.
Yeah, Colby really started getting his stride like the last 2 minutes of the fifth round. If you guys didn't watch this fight, Leon essentially dominated for 23 minutes. And if you guys see on SportsCenter, there's a clip of Colby just celebrating in the vast victory that he thought he won. Yet he only really had Leon on the ground for a few seconds. Let's be real now.
To fighter to start off with. To be honest, there was more action in Strawn Strickland attacking Dricus du Plessis in the crowd. It was a fucking boring fight. My editor just said he hadn't seen it yet. I said, don't bother. It's fine. It really isn't worth watching. Honestly, it was shit. And before the fans of either fighter start getting on my back, look, man, sometimes fighters just don't gel. But it was shit. We were wondering before the fight, can Leon keep his cool? He looks like he wants to, destroy this guy. He's obviously upset.
Fair play to him, by the way, for keeping his cool, because if someone were to talk about my relatives, it's one thing if you talk about me, and like with some situations, the situations I have beef with, it's like, if your dad did something rude to me and you're also a douchebag, I have a right to talk about a family member. But notice how I don't talk about any other family members that I don't have beef with, because like, why would I talk about someone I don't know? That's stupid. But like, you cannot be going around be like, your dad's dead. Like, No, that's so disrespectful. But yeah, continue.
Obviously, are we going to get an over-aggressive version of Leon in the cage?
Fair.
Me. The guy is a robot. And I'm not saying this is a negative thing. He's a clinical, cutthroat striker who feels very little emotion in there, clearly. Because even when someone stuck his finger in his chest and did everything they could to motivate him, to get him off of his game, Leon just played it as safe as humanly possible. I mean, he took very little risks. All right, one point he wrestled and Colby ended up on top, but still, he wasn't in any danger there. At no point did Leon go for it and go in for the kill. And to be honest, I was hoping he would go in for the kill, because when Colby says something as bad as he did, it created a bit of hype, a bit of buzz for this fight, which is obviously not always there for Leon's fights because he's not a big star. And I thought that this was a chance for him to go and make a statement on Colby.
He should have, bro. He really should have. Like, again, you cannot be going around talking about someone's dead relative and be like, oh, that's cool. No, bro, that ain't cool. Bro, if I would have the ability Leon had, I would have finished him in the second round. But Leon is so good in his fighting style that he doesn't really try as hard sometimes. It doesn't really look like he's really going all out the way that if he goes 100%, a lot of us know, like, this man is a very dangerous man.
To create a storyline where this guy said this about his dad, he comes back, beats the fuck out of him, it goes viral, and all of a sudden Leon becomes a bigger star. That's just never going to happen. If it didn't happen this time, it's never going to happen, because Leon's not a talker in the way, you know, some fighters are, and his fights, he is a clinical striker who doesn't take risk, so you're never going to see like a barnstormer. This proved it. It's never going to happen, you know what I mean? We're going to get a hell of a sportsman, but he's never going to be a star. What we might see is a bit like an Anderson Silva type reign, where he can just be that precision striker and make people look stupid, and then maybe later become a star in his own way, but just not in the stereotypical way. So in terms of Colby's performance as the challenger, you know you have to go in there and put it on the champion and take the belt from him and really show the dominance that Colby is known for. Colby looked like a guy who had been on a...
Yeah, all bias aside, like, Colby's not a bad fighter in any means. Like, he is actually he was very dominant in his prime. So the fact that he gave this piss poor performance is kind of surprising and kind of shocking to me. Like, again, all bias aside, like, he's a very good fighter. Like, let's not get it twisted. Like, I know, like, what the mentality of, like, what have you done for me lately? No, bro. Like, he was a good fighter, and this performance was disappointing.
KO in the past, that helps your cardio, the stuff that fucking TJ Dillashaw was on, and all of a sudden was off it. Like, where was the engine? Where was the forward pressure? Where was the wrestling? From the second the fight started, Colby was on the back foot. He looked scared. He bottled it. Plain and simple, bottle job, which is staggering from one of the most aggressive come-forward fighters in the history of the UFC. He tried to get Leon off of his game mentally. He was off of his game mentally. I did call it, but I didn't expect him to be the worst Colby we've ever seen. And to be fair, I will give some credit to Leon for that, because his footwork was so clever in the way he positioned himself in the cage to always make it harder for Colby to even shoot for a takedown. He made sure his back was never near a cage for the most part. And in many ways, this should be a lesson to a lot of UFC fighters out there who sit out on the sidelines for years waiting for their big shot. Like, you're not getting better doing that. You're not getting sharper. You're not enhancing your skills. You're not staying ready so you don't have to get ready for when the big fight does come. You're getting worse. Michael Chandler, you've been sitting there for fucking 2 years waiting for your dream shot at Conor McGregor. Still don't even know if you're getting it. This is for you to learn from. Tom Aspinall's on the podcast today. He's got a choice right now of, does he wait for his chance after Stipe and Jones fight, or does he stay active? This is exactly why fighters need to stay active, in my opinion. Colby loves Donald Trump. Donald Trump might have done better in there.
Yeah, I wouldn't take it that far, but that's what happens, bro. Sometimes, like, unless you know the outcome, which a lot of the times, like, people call me that I talk too much, bro. When I talk the talk, I walk that walk, bro. The only time I lose is when I'm injured, and guess what, guys? I'm injured a lot. Remember, I'm coming off a back injury. Remember, before that, I had an ankle injury. And during that ankle injury, I also got an Achilles injury where I had, not necessarily an Achilles injury, I had tendonitis in my left Achilles. And that finally got sorted out. It's just my back at this point. But from this year, from January to April, I was essentially untouchable. There's like a 4-month period in the year where I'm completely healthy, and the other 8 months, I'm always dealing with something. I'm always dealing with an injury. And it sucks, but me fully healthy, you cannot touch me. You can't. That's the difference between me and these guys that talk this talk but can't walk the walk. You got to talk it. You got to walk what you say. Whatever you say you can do it. Show us you can do it. But you did it.
Huge. I've seen more vicious sparring sessions, and I'm not even joking there.
Let's not exaggerate now. Let's not go overboard.
People were giving Leon credit for that on Twitter, saying he never broke a sweat, he never got out of second gear, what a great performance. I'm like, I'm paying 20 quid on TNT. He fucking better get out of second gear. Like, I want to see something. I'm paying for entertainment, yeah, and the whole rest of the UFC fan base are. This is your chance as a fighter, because you're not going to fight for another, 6 months, to leave a lasting impression on the fans, to build your star, to have a huge performance. It's just flat. The reason I'm saying this is because Leon had a similar type of performance against Nate Diaz, but he was in coast mode, and he does get into that habit a little bit of just coasting.
That's what the problem is when you get to the level of being so great, where it's like you hardly have to try, but the second someone lands something on you, bro, it's like you either sink or swim. It's your choice what you do.
At times, because he is so good. But when you do that, you are risking, just like what happened with Nate Diaz, of getting clipped. And all of a sudden, you're ruining 23 minutes of absolute dominance, wobbling around the cage, trying to survive when, you should have had this guy out of there by now. So I just think that Leon needs to make sure that when he is on top and he is dominant, he gets rid of some of these guys, not just because it's great entertainment for the fans, but also it stops them coming back later on in the fight. As for what's next for these two, I think Colby talked a lot of shit and delivered so little. Third title fight, worst performance of his career. He should retire. Maybe have one more fight against someone who he can have a respectful bout with, he enjoys fighting, and retire. But he just seemed acceptant of it. He just seemed like, yeah, I know I lost. I'm going to double down, say I won the fight, say I haven't got a mark on us, and just try and keep going. But you looked slow. You didn't have your cardio. Your wrestling wasn't good. Everything that was good about Colby's game looked like it had faded massively. So I don't have a lot of hope for him if they do put him in there with some live dogs. As for Leon, he needs someone who's going to push him so he...
I agree with that, because at this point, we need to see him go 100% guns blazing. I want to see that from Leon.
On course, he can't be in second gear. Someone who's going to bring the best out of him. And I've got to say that in my mind, that's Khamzat Chimaev. He is a front foot dominant fighter who will give us the fight that...
I might still give that fight to Leon, though. I think it does go the distance, but... yeah, I might go Leon.
Colby was supposed to. And I think that will be the best version of Leon, because he'll be razor sharp and he'll be having to punish Khamzat, because if you don't, you'll wish you did later. Let me know your thoughts. I'm sure some of you think I've been harsh on this fight. You're welcome to go and watch it back, because I never will. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, watch the Tom Aspinall podcast. I'm going to bring you to...
Oh, and this is the clip, guys, that, yeah, don't talk before, you fight, because if you say comments like this, bro, we're in 2023 now. This will be remembered forever. This will be remembered forever, bro. You look like an idiot. You look like an idiot saying this. Watch, just watch.
A place you never want to be. I'm gonna bring you the 7th layer hair. Hell. Okay. No, I'm bringing you the 7th layer hell. We'll say what's up to your dad while we're there.
Whoop. That aged like milk. Yeah, that aged like milk. You lost. And, yeah, lesson learned. Don't talk about people's dead relatives. But that's going to be it, guys. What are your thoughts, comments, opinions? Let me know in the comment section below. I love reacting and just reading your guys' comments. But yeah, that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Everyday vids for the next 3 weeks. I'm still going to be working despite school being over. But I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy and bye-bye.